Alright, so first thing you want to do is you're going to pull the seat cover off. So that literally is you just pry from the bottom of the seat and it'll pop right off. Then you'll see this. This is just 4 10mm nuts. You're going to pop these off and then, yeah.
So after pulling it off, you're just going to want to unplug the 2 cables that connect to the actual top hat. They're just squeeze and disconnect. You just got to give them a little tug. And then once that's off, you can set the actual top hat to the side. And then we can start working on the tubes. So after pulling the 2 connectors off, you can set this hat aside. And then you're just going to go ahead and want to start the car to bleed the fuel tank out so it doesn't have any pressure. So after running the car for about 2 seconds, the car should automatically turn off since it doesn't have the power connected to the fuel pump. After that, you want to go ahead and disconnect your battery so there's no power running at all towards the fuel pump or anywhere else in the car. And then you can go ahead and start by taking these out. So after removing the 2 lines, you can go ahead and tuck them away. And then we can go ahead and get at this lock ring tool. I highly advise just buying the tool used to get this lock ring off because it makes life so much easier. Otherwise, if you don't buy the tool, you're gonna have to take like a flathead and a hammer and smack this thing, and it's tight. Like, it's not tight or easy to get off. So you end up possibly destroying your lock ring and having to buy a new one. So in this case, just spend the extra $10 and get the tool. You'll make your life a lot easier. So after loosening the ring, we were able to spin it off with our hands. And then the way to get it out with this tube in the way, we basically just took a breaker bar and pushed down on this so it goes back in there, and then we just finagle this out with the tube, and then it comes up and then we just pull it out. It makes the life a lot easier when you push it down. So after that, we're just going to pull the actual assembly out. It should have 2 lines, one connected to here, and then or is there only one?
There's just the one.
Oh,
here.
There's only one line connected here. You gotta unplug that by squeezing both ends and then pushing or pulling off.
This is definitely the biggest pain in the ass of this job.
Yeah, no doubt. So after taking the tube off from right here, there's 2 different wires. You want to go ahead and unplug them from the top hat and then pull the entire assembly out of the fuel tank. You're going to want to get a bucket because there is going to be fuel that will spill. So after cutting the green or the black wire that connects the top hat to the actual bucket, you're going to see 3 tubes. The 2 black tubes just spray fuel into the bucket. You're just going to want to pull those out. They pull out really easily. And then the orange fuel line connects directly to the fuel pump. There's a little green press, like a little button. You pretty much press and lift up, and then that should pop off really easily. After you do that, you can pull the entire bucket out. So after pulling the bucket out, your float assembly is going to be right here. These little tabs. You just want to push them away from the bucket and then just lift up on the float assembly. Once you get the float assembly out, you just want to take the 2 screws provided in the kit and screw them directly into the actual new Bucketless system. So you're also going to want to take the top hat, and you have to make a slight modification to these little barbs that stick out from it. You just want to cut them off with a Dremel. Make sure you don't puncture the center piece, because if you puncture it, you're going to need a new top hat. After that, you can go ahead and install the aftermarket Bucketless system onto the top hat. Okay, so to reinstall the Bucketless system, you pretty much do everything in reverse order. Connect the fuel line to the new Black Market Parts 90-degree fitting that connects to the Walbro 450. You're want to grab that larger line and connect it back to here. And then after,
make sure it clicks.
And make sure the fuel line on the pump clicks. And then after that, you can go ahead and put the lock ring on. So after plugging everything back in, the 2 fuel lines, and then the line that comes to the top of this, you want to just plug these back, or you want to put the top hat down, finagle your lock ring back on, and then have someone push down on the white piece, and then just screw the lock ring back on.